Good. How everybody feeling? Everybody good? Everybody angles are straight?
Yeah, we
Steph,
straight.
you good? Chain good? Live, you good?
I'm
Mo,
ice.
you Gucci over there? You have? Oh! Shoot! You see how I switched it up? We got a Christian brother coming on. Y'all know what I usually say. I said, shoot! Go, doggy day! See, I did that, right? I used to say it the other way. I switched it up.
I was like,
You see what I did? Or they was going to unsubscribe real quick. Nah, this ain't going the way I thought it was. Not safe for ears, and we are live. We're live.
What's up? What's up,
What's
everybody?
going on? Thank you so much for giving my hand clap for coming on. Appreciate it. Y'all supposed to
Appreciate
clap
that.
with me. What now? Steph, boy, you too cool. You too cool today to be on the couch now.
You got his chains on.
Look, for everybody watching, if he lick his lips more than 5 times, we're going to steal on him on camera. So y'all just watch it. He going to have ashy lips the whole episode now. I can't lick him. Thank you so much for coming on, my brother.
Man, for sure.
I really appreciate it. So, I've been knowing this young man over here for a long time.
Yeah.
And, we've had our conversations about spirituality, our love for God, questions, answers,
Yeah.
etc. And me having this platform, it's been about a year now we've been doing this. One of the topics I wanted to cover, of course we can't cover it all today.
Yeah.
One of the topics I wanted to cover was like being a Christian, something Christian oriented or surrounding that topic, right?
Yeah.
So I'm talking to him. He said, "Man, I know somebody that knows somebody, and I got the perfect person.
Yeah.
I got a Christian rapper, and I don't mean a Christian rapper, not to be offensive, but the corny ones, right?
Yeah,
Where it's like
yeah,
just,
yeah.
Let's love each.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, they ain't no bars. You already lost me. But somebody who got a story to tell that's actually nice at the craft, right? Because you can't be, if you corny, it's like, bro, you ain't miss me with that.
Yeah.
But somebody, a lot of times when you're dealing with these youngers or anybody that's off the path,
Yeah.
they need someone that they can relate to, someone that they can look and see pieces of themselves to be like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to listen to you because I feel like you've been where I've been.
Yeah.
And you're not coming from this place where you have no identity like myself. So he told me he knew somebody, and we ran our way into you.
Yeah. Straight
And I
up.
wanted to talk about some of the decisions, some of the life events that got you to this point.
Straight up.
But not just where you are now. People need to know where you came from.
Oh yeah.
So you were a gymnast for the United States Olympic team.
I was doing backflips.
You was flipping.
Yeah.
Flipping, not the bricks. I tried to go with the flipping. I was just freestyling, fan. I don't know if y'all know if y'all watching this. We do a lot of freestyling.
Yeah.
No, but listen, let's pay it not respect, but we got to really get into this.
Okay.
You came from a lifestyle where you didn't have a father, like a lot of the young black men or women or families out here, and you grew up in an area where economically, there weren't a lot of opportunities, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you grew up in Bel Air or Beverly Hills or anything like that, right?
I wish. I mean, I don't even wish I did, but you know.
That's where it was.
Yeah, it was. It's privilege.
South Baltimore.
Straight up.
South Baltimore.
Yeah.
So give us some background in your childhood and what led to you becoming somewhat of a product of your environment.
I mean, pretty much my background, come from a single family home, like we already talked about. Father wasn't there, so coming up seeing drug dealing, mother being young, she young, she raising 2 kids by herself, so she got her little boyfriends here and there. I mean, she the best mother in the world, straight up. Shout out my mother, straight up.
All day.
But being in that situation, it was kind of crazy because you would see things that you wanted and you couldn't have. Your mother do the best she can do,
Right.
but you like, I mean, I wanted more, and it was like I would see the drug dealers and they was shining, and I would look out the window because my window was straight across the street. I could see the block. It was like a light on right above my window, and I could see the dudes hustling. I could see them getting money, and I seen the shootouts too, and I was like, yo, I'll be looking out the window while they banging out. I'm like, man. You know what I mean? I would watch how they take over territory.
How old were you then? Around this time?
Probably, at this point, I was like 8 years old.
Very impressive.
Yeah. So
Very
I'm like,
impressive.
man, so, and at this time, it was crazy because, at this time, I think I was like, I was growing a little older. My mother actually, at this time, and, it wasn't like they would say don't use drugs. So my mother would end up getting messed up. She ended up hanging around the wrong people, end up getting hooked on crack. So she got hooked on that, and it was kind of like, it was hard for me because at this time, now I'm looking at the drug dealer. I'm like, yo, y'all say y'all love me, y'all my man, don't serve my mother.
Right.
So I'll be like, you know what I mean? So, you know, and you know, they would respect me and not do it in front of my face because I could hoop at the time, but I was nice. So they were like, man, you know what I mean? They was like, man, Shorty gonna make it out of here one day. And then I remember one day my mother and her friend was together, and the drugs got lost. So her friend was like, no, I know you stole my drugs. And my mother was like, I ain't steal your drugs. So I'm down the street building a basketball goal, hearing them fussing. But I always hear my mother fussing with somebody here and there once in a while. And next thing you know, the woman pointed a gun at my mother. And I ran up the street, and I'm jumping in front of the gun. My mother pushing me out the way. She jumping in front of the gun. So we trying to figure out who gonna lose their life. So it was like one of them situations.
No time to
like,
think. It was just
no time to think. So that pretty much, that was the earliest stages for me just being involved with seeing drugs. You know what I mean? Seeing
violence
and violence and stuff like that. And it came to the point. This was I was in the Highland Ridge Project, East Baltimore, when it was up at this time. So at that point, when we moved out of the projects, I moved into a regular neighborhood, and the neighborhood was like, it was a drug-infested neighborhood too, but it wasn't like the projects. And at this time, I'm like 16, 17, and I'm like, yo, I can take this over. I seen how it's done.
Okay.
So I'm like, yo, I went outside and I started getting familiar with people and start being cool. And then I'm like, all right, now, you know, I got around a dude who was really the muscle in the neighborhood. So he was already with the shootouts and banging out, putting people in the house. So then he went to jail. I was in a car with him for the attempt murder that he tried to kill some dudes around that way. And when he went to jail, I just came right out and I just started putting people in the house. And then I took over the neighborhood.
And it was an opening there, and you took it.
Yeah, I took it.
It was funny. For those who may not be aware of the vernacular he's using, the slang, this is all business moves.
Yeah,
Right.
all been-
This is marketing. This is taking over acquisitions.
Yeah.
It's so funny, and funny not in how funny, but how much resources we lose in our kids because you were able from the age of 8 to the age of 16 without any formal education to say, oh, it's an opening right here, and I can take over.
Yeah.
And how people have a product and deliverables and a way to measure it.
Yeah.
You did all that by yourself, but it was just a different avenue.
Yeah.
Imagine if those resources that some of the other communities have were investing into our kids.
Yeah.
They wouldn't choose this. But
wouldn't,
you chose that, but it also brought you to this point. So you out there, you done took over. You put people in the house. You got my ass in the house. I'm in the house playing video games and shit.
Grown
Right?
man.
I just want to come outside live. And you like, not today, nigga, not today, right?
Yeah. It was real.
So you were part of that lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that it was a lot of ups and downs. You lost
Oh, yeah,
some
for
friends,
sure.
you lost some family.
Yeah.
And you came to a point where you decided this wasn't for you anymore.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm skipping anything or if there's anything else you want to highlight in that period, feel free. But
No. The biggest thing for me was like I've recognized like, yo, these dudes, you know what I mean? Even I would get by the drugs that they was getting for the same price they was getting it for, but I wouldn't make no money off of it for a minute. Like, I was breaking down, just say for instance, if a half an ounce was cost $500 at a time, I might break a half an ounce down and bag up $600. Off a half an ounce, you can make $1,300.
Right.
I wasn't living off of it. But what I did was I took every sale that they could possibly have in the neighborhood, and I was giving, all I was doing was making my money back. But I was giving them way more than they could, they were paying for.
Right.
So what happened was it shut everybody money down anyway. So then I stopped. I ain't had to be so violent no more.
Right.
It was just like my work was so much bigger than everybody else's and so much better that all the sales was coming to me.
Right.
And then I got the dudes on the corner like, yo, they just started buying my 20s because they was already like 50s or 60s.
Right.
And breaking them down, making so they making $40 off of boom. So it was like, you know what I mean? And got to the point where though I shut the neighborhood down, I put all the sales on my phone, and then I ain't had to be violent no more.
Okay.
To the you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't a plan, but it just happened.
It happened out there. So when did music become a part of your life too? Because we do know that you have a history with your man's Tess.
Yeah, straight
and the
up.
record label y'all were trying to build. It seemed like somewhere in there, music was maybe not a diversion, but it was something else you was putting your energy into outside of just street life.
Yeah. The music part of it came from me trying to listen to these fake ones who was talking they was living my life.
You can call one out if you ever want to call one out.
I'm riding around and I'm a young boy. I'm riding around in the latest Benzes, all the jewelry, just living his life. And I'm like riding around. I'm listening to rappers. I'm like, yo, he ain't say that like he knew he lit at.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, yo, this dude. I'm like, and I'm seeing dudes from my city who rap, and then I'm like, yo, I know yo don't. And they talking about my life. I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? You talking about like you flipping birds, you going to get trips, like you really rocking this Gucci, you living this life. And I'm like, yo, you lying. And then I'm like, me and one of my homeboys, rest in peace, Deuce, he got killed on my block. Dude shot him in the head with a 12 gauge. He lost his life. My man Deuce was like, yo, let's go to the studio one day. I went to the studio, and I was like, this is what I've been waiting for, yo. I've been waiting to see if I can do this. And I went in the studio, and I just came out with a crazy hook. I forgot what the hook was like, mass up. And I was talking about massing up, but I'm
talking about the life.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was talking about my life. And then I came out, gave it to dudes in the hood, and then they was feeling it. And that's when I really knew that I could do it.
Did so you never picked up a pen? You weren't a poet or nothing?
No, I ain't never. I always like music. I always, could see myself on the stage, but I just never thought that I would be. I never thought I would be a rapper. No, I just like to listen to it.
So rest in peace, Deuce.
Yeah, straight up. Deuce.
He saw something in you that said, okay, man, look, man, whenever I hear stuff like this, and we've had guests on in the future, in the past, and you hear about these changes in their lanes, and you wonder what it was.
Yeah.
And sometimes it don't make no sense. Like, I ain't inviting nobody to the damn studio. They can't spit. I ain't wasting no money now. Drug dealer money a little different. Like, yo, let's go make some pots. We got $10,000. But usually, for a broke man like me, I got a little bit of money, and I ain't inviting nobody to share no mic time if you can't spit. But for whatever reason, let's go with God.
Yeah.
God maybe spoke to someone who you would think stereotypically he wouldn't speak to speak to you because he knew something was bigger for you.
Yeah, something.
So we in there. You are now rapping to more of your frustration with the game and how there's a lot of frauds out there.
Yeah.
Now segue us to the part where you realize even what you was rapping about that we're gonna talk about in your Need God single.
Yeah.
It wasn't really what you thought people needed to hear.
What you mean?
When did you realize that, okay, this bullshit I'm putting out ain't really what I should be saying? If I got the spotlight on me, if I'm trying to talk, I feel like it's empty. Like I'm not really giving what I should be giving. Or I'm not even receiving what I should get for this. Maybe it's something bigger. When did God talk to you and say, like, bro, you need to change your lyrics up, or this ain't what it is? Or did it take a little, like, explain to us that process?
No, the whole thing was, like, I wanted to hear, way before even we get to that part, I wanted to hear some substance about what I'm living, and I wanted to see people who was really living it talk about it, because I don't care if you nice and you can rap, but just rap about some stuff and make it sound slick to your people, whoever, whatever. But for the real street ones, who really getting bricks, who really traveling, who really buying girls' purses,
putting their life on the line,
you really in shootouts. Don't say you living our life and fabricated to sell it to a kid on the block, to selling them a lie for your own check. You know what I'm saying? Right.
When you
because you know what I mean. Like a dude's like me, like I want to ride to it. I want to feel your story because I know you're in a different place, a different hood, different state, wherever you at, whatever going on.
Right.
So for me, it was like, you know what I mean, I ain't want that. But so that's when I started making music, and I started really telling my life. And dudes was like, yo, all testing them was always like, yo, you ain't lying. Yo, that's who you really is. And it got to the point where as though I couldn't get away from the streets. I never really would take music that serious because I was so heavy in the streets. I ride around listening to Jeezy. I command you niggas to get money. I command you niggas to get money. And it was kind of like, you know how the word of God say, life and death is in the power of the tongue. And whatever you confess, and I was confessing like, yo, let's get some money. So, you know what I mean? And it was so powerful because Yo really lived it. He really lived it. So because somebody who really lived it was saying it to somebody who really lived it, I'm talking about this. I'm going up Atlanta, rocking music, talking about what I'm doing, driving up the highway with 5 bricks in the car, $100,000 in the back in the trunk.
We was going to college dorm room trying to holler at chicks. My man was really. Well, you know what's funny? We probably passed each other too. I'm so glad I didn't get you mad that day, whatever it was, because it'd have been a real problem. He wasn't trying to fight.
No.
He wasn't. But it's so crazy though. It's really real out here for some people. Some people just rap and they think it's for the check. Ain't no hurt, no foul. They got parents like, no, sometimes what you saying, that power of the tongue, is really influencing. Or how we say, positively reinforcing. It's negatively reinforcing. It's out there. You put certain stuff out there, and you think it's for the white kids in the college rooms going to buy a CD. It's somebody over there who, unfortunately, doesn't have a compass, doesn't have a mom or a father to tell them, no, that's not good, turn that off. And they hearing that, and they going out there to do exactly what you're talking about.
Because you really think about it, like Tupac was like a part of my father figure. Because I would listen to him in the worst situations, looking for them better days, We ain't got no food in the refrigerator. You know what I mean? Making jelly sandwiches. You know, I already know what it is. I ain't like mayonnaise, so
Right.
forget all the mayonnaise. I ain't make mayonnaise sandwiches, syrup sandwiches, whatever. So that's who raised us. We was raised off of the hip hop, and that's what's happening to our kids. You can't even understand these rappers no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if that's the one with the fathers out of the house and the kids rocking around listening to this, meditating on this all day long, then we really got a problem. Because at least Tupac said something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Nas, I'm going up Park Heights at probably like 12 years old, selling nickels. Leaving from East Baltimore, catching a bus stop all the way to Park Heights. Man, I already done that. I'm in the big things, them big things. I'm like, man, I need some crack. Somebody give me some, I'm on Park Heights, some Haywood and Cutbird selling nickels just because I'm listening to Nas. So that's how much power, and that's how much that culture, because my father wasn't in the household, they raised us.
Right. I know it was a time or a period where you became a victim.
Oh, yeah.
And the bio I've read where you shot. You shot at and you definitely got hit.
Yeah, for sure.
Was that bottom for you? Was that Bro, I hear firecrackers. I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm done. This ain't shit. This ain't it. Pack the shit up and go. Give it to him. I don't even care. That wasn't enough for you. I'm trying to find you enough. You see what I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to say, what is this enough? Like, nah, man, ain't done. So that probably just maybe made you more angry, made you want to get back at somebody, I assume. But it wasn't. When was that moment where it was like, yo, I gotta change?
Yeah.
Not the gunshots. Okay. I dished a lot of that out.
Okay.
So I was taking. So when I finally got shot, it was kind of like a surprise to me. It was like, though, somebody really got the audacity. For one, first I was like, oh my, and then I was like, yo, this is really about to happen. And I had a producer in the car with me. I threw his head down and I jumped on top of him because I knew he ain't never do nothing.
Yeah, he wasn't about.
If he'd have died and I'd have lived, I couldn't look at him.
Right.
I couldn't look at nobody because I'm like, yo, you was supposed to be dead. You know what I mean? But I jumped on top of him. And I just told God, don't let me die like this. I woke up.
You screamed God.
I screamed God. I did.
Right?
I did.
How much church were you going to before that?
None.
And like in your single,
yeah.
When the bullets started flying.
Yeah.
This is look. I'm a curse. Is it okay if I curse? This is some real shit, man. He ain't just saying the song to make other rappers feel bad about putting. He's telling you exactly what went on in his life.
Straight up.
Bullets got to flying.
Yeah.
Now you scream God.
Yeah.
So the bullets are flying.
Yeah.
You put your mans down and you say, God, just don't let me go out like this.
I said, God, don't let me die like this, because I was in a small SC Lexus convertible joint.
Okay.
I ain't had the top down, to God be the glory that day, but I had, you know what I mean. That's just to let you know how small the car is. And for a 45 caliber, 10 shots to go through all the car. For me to only get shot one time on my back, and to actually live, I woke up in handcuffs in the hospital. I had handcuffs on because I still had warrants.
Right.
For some whole other stuff. I didn't even know I had warrants. I woke up and I had police just sitting around me, and they start asking you questions as soon as you wake up. Like, yo, you all high off drugs, whatever they got up in your system. They want to ask you 1,000 questions. They say, they want like, yo, who shot you? I'm like, yo, you tell them, let me know when you find out.
Right.
Because it was a crazy situation. But my mind was so lost because I was about to drop Neighborhood Superstar.
Okay.
I was about to drop my first mixtape in the streets. So my mind was so messed up. I'm thinking like, yo, I done been one of the biggest drug dealers in the street that I know. I said, I done really ran blocks, really had all the girls, really had money, really been driving all the cars. And for me to get shot, this ain't gonna do nothing but make my mixtape sell.
Wow.
That's how you see how messed up my mind was.
Wow.
It never even crossed my mind that my wife would have been hurt. Right. My family would have been.
People been crying for you.
It never crossed my mind. The only thing I was thinking about was the effect of the more oppression and demonic mindset that my mind was just in.
How you could even flip this situation.
How could I flip and hustle?
The constant flip. The constant hustle.
It was bad, bro.
So you gonna eventually tell us what made you change? Because now we getting nervous. We like, oh, you changed, right?
No, the change.
You did. I saw the video. Tell me that. Was that an old video?
No.
Was it a remix or something we don't know about?
The change came after everything was over. Pretty much, I think God allowed me to just go through the whole process. Like He allowed, like, you know what I mean. I had a song, World Star, me and Lil Scooter. Rest in peace to Scooter. Yeah. And I done did everything. I done from being around Future, you know what I mean, kicking it with them, for rocking with the, you know what I mean, my whole team, CHM, everybody having money, really living the, I guess, dope boy American dream. And one day I was just in the club. I don't know if you know YG Tay. Me, Tay, and Milk. We was and my man Gio Tess. We was just in the club one day, and we all had these CHM chains on, and I had took my chain off and put it around Tess neck because this one Boosie was just came home, and I put it around Tess neck, and I was like, yo, you really shining now. You got $250,000 on your neck. And we was just having a good time, but I felt like something was off me right there at that time. I felt like man, I felt like free, but I felt like, man, I didn't know if I wanted to be, but I felt like I didn't want to be there no more. So we in the club, same thing.
Everything you was chasing, the music, the women, the clothes, the money,
everything.
And you almost became numb or deaf to it.
I almost came numb and deaf to it. We was in the club, and I had so much. Everybody was drinking. I ain't drink that night. I went home, and when I went home, I sat in my living room. My wife came, started fussing at me. I ain't even hear.
That's
what
what
she was
wives
saying.
do.
Yeah, that's what they do.
You ain't even do nothing wrong, man. You was just in the club with a bunch of naked women.
I ain't do
You
nothing.
ain't do nothing wrong. Not a thing.
It was just the same thing, like coming home 5 o'clock at night with glitter on your face here and there, and then you
You wipe the glitter off live.
And I told her,
Live so live, he don't even care. He like, I'm gonna throw more glitter on this.
she was like, "What was you at?" I was like, "In a strip club." She was like, "You got glitter on you?" I was like, "You know how girls just hi live. You know how you been in the strip club with me, baby. You know how girls are when we walk in the club. They just always come and say hi. You seen that? You can't. It was unpreventable.
Right.
I've been wrong if
It
I
goes
told
with
you
it.
back up. Don't touch me. Like, you know what I mean? But it was like one of them situations. When I sat down, it was like I didn't know what happened. It was like the power of God. It was like I had this powerful influence to read the Bible, and I'm like, yo, you know,
That night.
that night, for some reason. And I got into the Word of God and started getting into the Word of God, and I couldn't get out of it.
Fam, nobody came to you like that morning and said, no old lady was outside the train station. You say nothing. Now, see, this is where you can choose if you're a skeptic to call bullshit.
Right.
And you have the right to do that.
Right,
Anyone, right?
Right.
But then if you just say, okay, listen, how crazy is that?
Yeah.
That my man's people out there right now trying to get to the point by any means to where you were that night.
Yeah.
Everything, money,
Right.
diamonds, women,
Right.
fame, whatever. And for no reason, or for the most ultimate reason,
Right.
it clicked.
It clicked.
It changed
Change.
that quickly.
Change.
So now you got this urge to feel like something's missing,
Yeah.
and I feel like this is it,
Yeah.
and I got to read this book.
Yeah.
No other book called you.
No other book called me.
That one called you.
That one called me.
So you immediately started digging in,
I
reading.
started reading. I started getting into like sermons. I started just whatever I could find about Jesus. I was just on it, and it was just like I was just in a house, and my wife was like, "Yo, you ain't going nowhere. It's been a couple days. What's going on with you?" I'm walking around the house with earphones on, just cleaning up. I don't even know what's going on. I'm just like,
Oh,
I
he
don't
cleaning
know.
up too.
Yeah, I'm cleaning
Well,
up.
she was real happy.
She was what
She said, "Oh, he is saved."
yeah. But she
She
didn't
just started
even know.
cleaning.
She didn't even know.
Wow.
She didn't even know because I wasn't bold enough to tell her because I didn't know if I was really saved.
Right, and how did you react?
And when she found out, it was kind of like, you know, because my wife, she grew up a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
Okay.
So for me, telling her, you know, I met the Christ in my living room, that was like crazy for her. She was like, whatever, but she couldn't deny the fruit. She couldn't deny. I didn't even know I stopped cussing. I couldn't even tell. I didn't even know I stopped cussing. I didn't know I
Oh,
stopped.
this was all immediate.
All immediate. Like,
Oh,
it happened
man.
almost like over like this, I guess like a certain amount of period, like maybe like a 3-4 day period. I just was in the house just cleaning at this time. And then she was like, what is going on with you? What is you trying to not make me mad? You trying to stay in the house for a few days like you do when I
It was so
you?
weird to her. She didn't even know how to react to it.
Yeah, and then when she seen like months go past, it was like, oh my goodness, she waking up in the middle of the night. I'm worshiping God 4:30 in the morning consistently every single day. All she can do is just be like, yo, this must be crazy. This is the same dude. Then she see it's real in my life. So she just watching me for a minute, you know what I mean? And I used to say little crazy stuff because I couldn't stop talking about God. I couldn't have a regular conversation like this right here. Cold conversation.
You playing catch up.
Yeah, I was like, God. And she was like,
Good morning, God morning.
yeah. She was like, why can't you just have a regular conversation? I'm like, I don't know, baby. It's just like I was just like, it was like nothing.
Old
else.
folks say the spirit was shut up in your bones.
Yeah.
I don't know what church y'all went to.
Yeah,
but
that's what they
come on,
say.
Baptist, the spirit shut up in my bones. So you was just on fire. You was just like, man, I gotta get this out. You know, I'm hot.
Yeah.
I'm like, you gotta take a real good doo-doo. You ain't got time to talk. I got doo-doo. And not to relate what you said out your mouth is doo-doo. but you was just letting it out. Look, I got something to tell y'all. I gotta let it out.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a dude who always had his car clean from in the middle of the day. I'm standing on a rock because I used to live on some apartments by the water.
Right.
So I'm sitting on a rock, standing on a rock in the middle of the day with some flip flops on and there's a tank top. Worshiping God, my neighbors just riding past like, what is going? Is this the same guy?
Right.
And I'm like, it was just like, so I'm just walking around, just like, how you doing? Just like, Jesus love you. Talking to my neighbors, they like,
We didn't say the same thing. We did be like, fam, is he all right?
Is he all right? And I couldn't-
Because he had Jeezy on yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And
Now you got Kurt.
But it was crazy because it got so bad when before that time I was in the streets that none of my homeboys wanted to do business with me no more. I was just around for this fact just because of the muscle. Because I was a person who get money, but then I rob you and I shoot you, all that.
Right.
So my homeboys, I had dudes who was around me who was just hustlers. And there was a difference between a hustler and a gangster. I was a gangster. So it was some of my homeboys, they wasn't tough enough to hold their work down, so they'd front me a brick and I just keep it. And they'd be mad at me, but they wasn't going to do nothing.
Right.
So and I knew they was weak. So if I know they was weak, I'd just be taking stuff from people and just be keeping them like, man, forget you. You ain't going to do nothing.
Right.
What you going to do? So now I got to the point when work would come in, they wouldn't even tell me. And I'd be like, dang, ain't no work coming in? They like, nah, bro. So now, you know.
So you were still 1 foot in, 1 foot out in a sense.
No. I'm talking, no.
Oh, this is before that.
Before,
Okay.
So my money wasn't as like it was where it was at the time when I met the Lord. It was kind of like I was all right, but I wasn't crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it was good that I wasn't though, because I had to really rely on the Lord for some resources. Everything I had, He gave me an idea because I ain't know what to do. I'm with the Lord now. I'm like, Lord, how am I make some money? I'm not going to sell no drugs no more. I'm not getting around with my old friends no more. I ain't doing none of that no more. And He gave me that idea to start a painting business. So I started a painting business, and the painting business just took off.
Okay.
I guess that lack of money also kept some unneeded distractions, right?
Right.
Oh, we gonna jump back on you because we here for live in a sense, but we couldn't even gotten here without McDonald's. Look, McDonald's got a 2 Big Mac sale. My man Steph. I know. Listen, Steph is a cousin of.
You know he crazy.
Hey, Live, we retarded over here. Live, all right, good. So, Cameron Brown, good friend of mine. So grew up with him. This is little cousin. So I've been knowing him for a long time. If I knew Cam, I knew him. And we all humans. We all got histories, right? But he's always been what you would call pious. He always seemed like he had a love for the Lord. Even if doing his love or his walk towards the Lord, you get a little sidetrack. Sometimes you're on a road trip, you got to take a pit stop. It happens. So we're talking, and we've had open conversations. And like I said in the beginning of the show, you helped facilitate this whole process, right? We wouldn't be here right now to this day if we didn't have these conversations as brother, and you let me know that, hey, somebody out here who's been somewhat of the same path. I mean, I wouldn't shoot nobody and shit, I crack jokes. I can hoop a little bit. Crack jokes, and I take my, in the 64 and shit. I stayed off the block. But the journey of it all. Right. I wanted you to talk about what even brought you to this point where you reconnected with what you would call your version of faith, because we got all different types, right? You got Muslims, but for you, your love for God, Christ, the one true God, in your sense, right? What reconnected you to that? Like, what made you feel? Because we know my man was in the club with $250,000 chains on, and what was your the most recent one? Because I assume you had many, like a lot of us. What made you come back?
Made me come back.
And don't be shy and cute, and don't lick your
I'm-
lips. If
I'm
you
not-
lick your
I'm
lips
not-
once,
I'm not.
All right.
So look. So it was like I went to.
Come on, man, loosen up.
I went to what? The Million Man March.
Okay.
And I'm listening to Farrakhan, and he was going back between Christianity and Muslim. So I'm like, how's he relating the two back and forth? So then that was like right around the time where the YouTube atheist, the dude Polite. That's when he would come on, and so he was talking it's all made up, blah, 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 blah. Christianity, white man, religion, so it sounded good because I had no foundation. So I was like, man, I'm about to turn away. So I met someone, and then her friend will always have Bible verses and stuff like that. So we over there hanging out, and I'll always see it. She'll always make little church. I'm like, man, that's cool. So then my parents, they found this church, and they was like, you need to come.
Shout the church out.
Like it. And
What's the church name?
I-5 City.
Okay.
So we got there, and I walked in. I'm like, oh, these people are nice. Like from when you first pull up, they got signs walking you when you come in. The people working the parking lot walking you when you come in. You walk in the door, it's like a line of people, and at this time they were at a middle school, so you had to legit walk down the hallway, and it was constantly somebody like welcoming you. So I'm like, yo, what is going on? Do you walk in? It's like a concert. So I'm like,
did it feel different?
It felt. I'm like, yo, this is cool, but I'm like, you know what? So I'm gonna go back. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep having my fun for a little bit. I'll never forget. I said at the end of like 2016, I was like, look, I really like, you know, what we got going on here at this church. But God, I'm gonna wild out for like another year, a little bit. Then I'm all yours.
He let you wild out for a little bit.
No.
Like he didn't let you wild.
No.
Okay.
He was like, all right, go ahead. I got something for you. So I'm wilding out. I got myself in a situation. I didn't get arrested, but I got pulled over and I had to go to court. So in the midst of that window, I'm like, oh, like. Yeah. Like, Lord, you know, like, hey man, you know,
I was joking. I was playing.
That,
look.
help! I need you to help me out on this. So in the midst
you
of,
started
like,
screaming God.
In that situation, they just happened to play his story, like on
Who's
the
that?
screens
Oh.
at church. They played his story, so he was up there he was like on the screen talking about his story, and I'm like, man. So I look at him, and he was there. Like, I always see these two like up front, like this. So to hear his story was like, hold up, you, like, you know what I mean? So it was like, all right, like, it's time for me to make some changes. So in that year, I was still, you know, wilding out a little bit. A homeboy hit me up, was like, yo, come to you doing anything today? Come to Detail Law. We about to go, like, at the Flow Finishes radio show. We gonna go to the stadium and we gonna shoot up Philly. So I'm like, all right, bet, I'm with it. So it was all cool. We was at Detail Law, went to stadium, and this is where I realized, like, I needed, like, something went right. Mm-hmm. I'm in a strip club. Normally, you know, it's like, woo, but like this time I was like, I should not be in here. The whole time I'm like, yo, I should not be in here. And this next women were going around, and I'm sitting there like this, like, I felt like a virgin.
You had both eyes closed, one eyes closed.
So I was like,
you had both. Answer right now.
But I'm going back.
All right, but you was like, all right.
So I'm like, all right, but I knew, like, so I knew. That's when I knew my.
It didn't feel right. Something.
Like, I was like, yo, I should not be in here. It was so point I was in the bathroom shaking, like, all right. I'm looking at my phone. I'm looking at my watch, like, all right, God, I only got like another hour. Help me get through it. So then I made it out. So then once we left, it was like, I was like, I can't do strip clubs no more. So we went out to Philly, that was cool, whatever. So then there was another time, like a couple months later, somebody else, hey man, my man's in town, you know, dude was like, let's go to the strip club. So I'm like, nah. So I'm like, I ain't going. Like, we really going at it. I'm like, yo, I'm not going. So then, his wife, she knew, she was hearing this. So she was like, only way I'll let you go to the strip club is if he go. So then it was really like, we need you to go. So I was like, look, so I'm like, in the midst, I'm like praying about it. I'm like, Lord, you about to be mad at me, but I'm about to go to the strip club. But this ain't for me. This ain't for me because the four of us that went, we always get in some goofy situations. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to just make sure they good. So we go there, like, I'm in the strip club like this, like, no lie. I'm like this, and I'm enormous like
you
this.
Definitely wasn't tipping, is what you're saying.
I wasn't tipping at all. I was
you know, he ain't paying for nobody dances like this.
I'm like this. So I'm regulating what they got going on, right? And then I was just like, all right, I gotta get out of here. So then we finally left. I felt good again. I was like, all right, I'm done with strip club. So then I really started, we're doing my research. So I still wasn't sure about, the whole Christianity thing. It was the whole white man's religion and all that. Mm-hmm. Started doing my own research and realized, like, it's not necessarily the white man's thing. And it was like, and then I really started, like, praying, and I came across this book, and then also talking to people. My pastor was like, you need to do your own research with everything. So it's like, you need to build that relationship. Your own relationship. On relationships with God. So God was like, you don't let anything else stop you. Don't let nothing stop you from going here. I have you here for a reason. You're good. Like, don't worry about none of that. None of that should matter. We need to be here. Like, you go to work, you hate your coworkers, right? You still go. They're not messing up your money because of a couple bad apples. I mean, you may change your job, but it's still everywhere you go.
Same mission.
It's the same thing. So you go to the club, you got a whole bunch of people like in the club doing their own thing or whatever. And even when I would go to a club, I kind of feel like this ain't it. Like just working and then spending my money in the club trying to, like, I didn't buy bottles or nothing, but like you see people putting on like facades and stuff like that, and it's just like this can't all be it. So and you know, going to we have young adult groups. Went to a young adult group. Shout out to Kiara and Travis. If it wasn't for Travis, stopped me one day in the lobby and was like, "Hey man, come to that young adult group." So I'm like, "Man, it's a bunch of robots, a bunch of Christians." Then I realized getting to know them exposed me to that stuff. It was like it's not about that. So then as I started to grow, they were like, "Hey, we need you to be a leader, a young adult group." I'm like, "What? You want me to do? I don't know the Bible like that." And like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're a leader, you know, you're growing. So that really like pushed me. So I went from leading a young adult group, and then I joined, and it was cool doing my young adult. I'm like, I need something else. Like, all right, let's get farther into this. So I seen a whole bunch of men going into this room. I'm like, yo, what is going on over there? So I told them, I was like, I need a break. And then we have a Monday night group called Raw. Mm-hmm. So these two started leading it, and it really like, it showed me that a lot of people are really a lot of us men are going through a lot. And it was like a safe zone to like really, and to like put it out, like, you know, get everything out. And it was just like, oh man. So like, I really learned a lot from them, from other men to like really start growing and understanding like you really need to build a relationship with God. And then reading this book, Jesus Over Religion, it shows like religion puts God in this box. Like you have like they say you can't have piercing, you can't have tattoos, you can't have a whole bunch of, you got dressed a certain way. But when I came to I-5, I came from like an apostolic church. It's real tradition, no facial hair, no piercings, no tattoos. The men have to wear pants. Like we out hooping, we gotta have pants on.
What?
Yeah.
They don't like crossovers?
Women had to wear like the jean skirt situations. So when I came to I-5, and I'm seeing people in there with like tank tops and jerseys on, I'm like, who? Like these people, like they're not, like, what are you doing? Like, you come to church dressed like that? But I'm seeing people pray the house down. And it's like, so that opened up my mind, like, it's not just about your appearance. And it's like, people have it so messed up, like, other denominations probably have it messed up because it's like, you putting this box on God when God is so much bigger than your appearance. This is where your heart is. And where your
Let's stay right there, and I like that. And thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
How important was it for you finding your way back? And I actually want to tie it back in. So you were an impressionable young man listening to rap music that it was a direct reflection of what you was going on in the streets, right? Mm-hmm. And then it got to a point where we fast forward to this, going alongside Stefan's statement, where the same kids who are maybe still out there and still somewhat impressionable about what you should do in that life, right? Going to strip clubs and stuff like that. You're now in charge of leading those same dudes away that were a victim of the same power of the tongue type of thing that you were going through. Is that kind of trippy to you a little bit? It's like now you're a part of this youth group or helping the church out, knowing that you were a part of the problem at one time, and not only has your soul been saved in a way, you're also helping. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not just cleaning up your mess, you helping others clean it up. Like you was helping your wife clean up that one day. You know what I'm saying? You helping. Is that crazy hearing his story and seeing how you're tied back in it? And if a bullet would have went further to the left or the right, or if you would have been slightly off in your reaction, or let's say it's nothing to do with you, because I think it's nothing to do with you in this case. If God didn't have it for you to live past that day, you wouldn't even be able to hear his testimony in a sense, and then have your own. Is that a little trippy to you? It gave me chills a little bit, like, wow.
I mean, you can see the connections.
Y'all two technically shouldn't even be on the same couch right now.
Nah.
If you look at the histories, the lifestyles, the neighborhoods, the family type, y'all came from two different parts. But somehow you right back here.
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't know nothing about no church, period. No church system. Like, I'm preaching in churches now. And they tell me
the other day you put a video. Like, it's
crazy.
crazy. I'm going to do a service.
They tell me take my hat off when I go into the church, and I ask the dude, like, what you talking about? He like, you take your hat off because, you know, I'm like, why? He like, because that's what I was taught. I was like, And the Lord Holy Spirit was like, you know, you got honor, you know, I just honor the house. And I felt like I took my hat off. But as soon as I got the microphone, I was cracking on him on the microphone. I started preaching, so I started talking about him because
You worried about my outfit and not what I'm
Right,
trying to say.
right.
yeah, so I don't understand like you know when Stephon was, I get what he was saying, and I understand that's something that I'm called to break down, because you know at the end of the day, like you just said, for this next generation, we talking about these kids, yo, like I understand what it's like to be on that other side. Like God ain't changed me, He ain't take no swag away from me, He ain't take no grit away from me. He just took who I am apart from sin and used me for His glory. Ain't nothing changed. So I can still talk to the dope boys. I can still talk to the kids who getting caught up in the same situations. You know what I mean? So and guess what? They still like, yo, you slick, yo. I like you can serve Jesus and still be like that.
Right.
I'm like, yo, straight up, like yo, you can preach and still have your lingo.
Yeah, you
can
don't
talk,
have to lose your culture.
Yeah, you ain't gotta lose your culture. Don't get caught up in with like what Stephon was saying, how they that stronghold in the box kind of thing. You ain't gotta get caught up in that situation. So that's the biggest thing for me. I know that I know that I'm called to break down denominations for one body in Christ. Like it shouldn't be no I don't even know nothing. I ain't never seen a Baptist Pentecostal church. I don't even think I know a seen it. I don't think I say it was one church in the Bible. So for all that to be going on, like, you know what I mean, that's man-made stuff.
Stay right there. You were talking about the next generation and your calling. And one of the things we want to talk about is you reaching the next generation through music, secular music. And like you were talking about, one thing I can speak up in my experience is the Baptist church, and they ain't like nothing being played if it wasn't gospel and it wasn't sang by like Nat King Cole. That's it. That's the most secular you can get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, holy night.
But they hypocrites though.
So how do you think you're gonna help reach the next generation and tell them, look, all that we was raised on,
Yeah.
let me tell you how it really should be.
Yeah, I tell them all the time. I tell them I go into church. I was talking to some apostles and bishops yesterday, and I told them, I said, look, I'm gonna tell y'all some facts. I got the gateway to your kid ear, and guess what? Everything that you talking about and y'all singing, that's cool, but I really got the gateway to your kid's ear, because the sound that they creeping and get into the world, I got that same sound.
Right.
That whole vibe, that everything that the enemy is using to get into your kid's ear, we got the sauce, the ingredients to give them something that they really want to hear. They just lying to you and telling they want to sing that song. They don't want to sing that song for real.
Yeah.
And guess what? They trying to please you, but at the end of the day, why you think they getting caught up? They going out there doing what they doing and, you know, still wilding out. And they come to church and it's hard for them.
Right.
If you really take the time and listen to what they really want, then what's going on with not Christian, because I don't like to say Christian. It's more like inspirational. I feel like I'm inspired by the Holy Spirit to do this.
Okay.
Because if it was just one set to one kind of piece, then it'd be really hard to really define this thing. This thing is inspiring people to really come to know Jesus. Point blank period. I ain't gonna put it in no Christian box. You know what I mean? So what's going on out here? We got the same. I got the same kind of story that the street dudes got, but I got the same kind of style and swag that make them really feel it. And you can see your kids loving it when I'm on stage.
Right.
And you see them smiling and they more joyful than they ever been. So why you gonna sit up here and tell me this ain't effective and that King Cole kind of?
Are you getting that a lot?
No,
A lot of pushback.
Sometimes not as much as I thought I would get, but I you know what? I see it in the actions because ain't no checks coming out. And what I'm saying is, if you see this is affecting your next generation and your culture, why not invest in that? If you're getting $100,000 in tithes and offerings every week, and you seeing that this music is the gateway to change the next culture in Christianity or whatever, even in the world, for people just doing demonic, messed up stuff. Why not, if you a church and you see the fruit of it and people really being inspired by it, why not dump a check in that? And you know what I mean? Or you gonna just keep singing other people with praise and worship songs? You don't even know them. You don't even know the fruit. You can, you know what I mean? You know, so it's like it's tough, man. Sometimes when you really look at it, because you know what I mean? Because you're looking at the kids, they getting rocked to sleep. You know what I mean? Satan's agenda is really being pushed, and you know what I mean? It's tough.
Through this music.
Yeah.
And I guess you out there trying to use the same tools and tactics, but use it for a better purpose.
Yeah.
So now, you outside, you freaking your neighbors out. You got your beat on. You praying.
Yeah.
They like, where's the blunt? I don't see none of that. We get into the Christian spiritual music. Was it around that same time, or like when did you decide, okay, oh, that's how I used to rap, this is how I'm gonna rap now?
It was hard, bro. It was like I threw all my music away that I had of myself. All because I still had Neighborhood Superstar. I had mixtapes all
And probably
around.
money still investing in it.
Money,
Yeah,
big
yeah.
money invested into it. And so I took all of my music and threw it in the dumpster because I couldn't hear
Like literally threw it away.
Yeah, 'cause I couldn't hear myself talk like that no more. And I would literally be hearing dudes, you know, on seeing people on social media bumping my music, riding, and I was like, man, I gotta cut this off. So I stopped my old social media and jumped on a new one because I didn't want to hear it. And what happened was 3 years later, I think it was 3 years later, I ain't never think about making Christian rap. No, I ain't care about none of it. I just went in the studio one day, and next thing you know, a song just came straight out of me because I never wrote music anyway. I just go right in the booth and just rap.
Right.
So next thing you know, I was singing. I was like, man, this sound like something. And that one song, I got on a radio station. I got managers.
What's the name of the song?
It was called what was that song, Key? Holy King.
Okay.
And the song just got radio stations, and I was on radio stations. I was just calling, getting shows, and then I got another manager. Next thing you know, I got another manager. Next thing you know, I got a whole team around me. People just pushing, so I knew it was the will of God for me to go back. But then I would start hearing how the Lord would give me music, talking about like He was playing in the kitchen, He was whipping up the sauce, He was playing in the kitchen, He was whipping up the boss, Potter playing with that clay, and then He mixed it with the sauce, then He adding all the spices, remixing the boss, and I'm thinking to myself, that sounds like I'm cooking up coke. If I was to really think about it, but now it sounds like I'm being created by God, because He the potter, we the clay. Now He playing in the kitchen, He whipping up sauce, He added everything that's gonna make you. And He remixed me to a boss. I was remixing bricks. So now He remixed me to a boss. So now I'm thinking to myself, yo, and the kids is going crazy off these songs. So it's kind of like now we getting them to confess and proclaim the kingdom. And it sounds just like what's going on in the world.
Not corny.
But it's not corny.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Something we talked about. I don't know if we talked about it off camera, but I definitely want to bring it, especially because my wife, my beautiful wife, my lovely wife, my parole officer.
Yeah, I got one too.
Look, my rock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like real talk.
Yeah.
You talked about not only throwing away your music, right, but maybe throwing away your past life and not throwing it away and keeping it your secret, right? A skeleton in our closet that no one knows about, so we can go out there and act phony with everybody else.
Yeah.
But truly keeping it real. And it was with your wife.
I didn't want to keep it real.
So let's talk about how did you keep it real?
I first of all, I want everybody to know I didn't want to keep it real. I honestly didn't. But you know, when the Lord tell you do something, you gotta do it. And I didn't. Even when He told me I didn't want to do it, even when He told me to do it, I didn't want to do it. Just sitting in the living room, man, and so many times my wife would keep asking me because she never caught me cheating. She'd say, "How you saved now? You're a man of God. Can't you tell the truth about what you did? Can't you tell me?"
Very smart, wifey.
Yeah.
Very good timing, wifey.
And it's a
You ain't
script-
gonna lie now.
it was a scripture in the Word that it was talking about. You know, when Paul was like, you know, like I ain't do that. I ain't that man no more. So they were like, didn't you kill all these Christians? Paul was like, look, I ain't do nothing. So I was like, man, I'm standing on that scripture right there. Like, I ain't do nothing. So I was standing on that scripture. I was like, well, why would you even want to talk about some stuff that you might don't want to really know the answer for a minute? And then she was like, well, you know, well, you was around this person, you was doing this, you've been around Future, you've been around all these celebrities, and you tell me out of all your homeboys, they was nasty, you wasn't nasty?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I just love you, baby. You know what I mean? And then I'm saved, so now I'm like, I ain't even trying to answer the question. I'm like, look, can we talk about this? Every time we talk about this, it seems like it's a problem. And Key know what time it is. Key know what I'm talking about. Because Key was like, because it happened so many different times. Because I had her homegirls who knew certain things about my past.
Okay.
And she was like, well, I know Live Saved. He a brand new man now. And, you know, it's things that I know about him. Do you want to know? I'm like, yo, don't. You supposed to.
Why would they do that?
I love her to death. Shout out to Brittany. You know what I mean? I put
Why would
you
you do
You
that?
my sister. I got to tell the truth, whole truth. You know what I mean? So
God told her to do it. Amen.
I believe it was God.
I think it was God. He said, Brittany, you go tell the truth. You make sure that truth get out.
Look.
Because live lying.
And it was like, I'm a man of God and everything, but I was like, man, to be honest, like, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I lied. I was like, look, man, I ain't trying. That's one thing, Lord, you ain't getting out of me. Ain't nobody getting this out of me unless I talk to Key or somebody. We get to just tripping about some stuff, but nobody getting that out of me. And then one day I'm sitting in my house, and the Holy Spirit said, you gonna have to tell your wife about your past. my neighbor was looking because he was right there. We was having a conversation, and I just whipped back like this.
He said, Brittany?
What the? It was Brittany. No. And he was like, "What's wrong? Why you whip back like that?" I was like, "Yo, I think the Lord just told me I had to tell my wife about my past." And he was like, "Yo, you sure that was God?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yo, I know that was God." Because when you know when God's speaking. So I was like, "Oh my God." So he left out the house. He went home. She come in the door, and when she come in the door, she just like, "Hey, baby, what's going on with you?" So I'm like, looking at her, like, "Hey," I'm like, "What's going on?" So they laughing and joking. Her and her sister on the phone. They like, "What are you doing? Eating some snacks or something like that?" Cause they call me Snack Man because I like snacks. So they like, "All right." So she go upstairs, and the whole time I'm sitting downstairs, I kind of forgot about what the Lord told me. Then Key called me. Key like, "Yo." I'm like, "What's up, yo?" He was like, because we got accountability now in marriages. You know what I mean? Like I could talk to his wife, he could talk to my wife. We all just like, you know how it is with y'all.
Right.
You can say something to, hold on, I'm gonna stick to my brother. You can say something to her, and she'll be like, no. But then somebody else say the same thing you just said, and she'll be like, "Yeah."
Oh, now you preaching. You ain't tell me you was going to preach today, but you preaching. Continue.
So that's why we got good accountability in our marriage, because if I need to say something, sometimes I say it through him. So he called me like, "Yo, your past coming up again." I'm like, "What you talking about?" He like, "Yo, your wife just called my phone and told me," she upstairs at this time. Remember, it's 20 minutes after the Lord told me this thing about to go down.
That's how you know it was serious. He know the exact minute.
Yeah.
It was 20 minutes, 30 seconds, boy.
The sun was on the east side. He like, "Yo, something about some past, something about some girls and something like that. You did it in you was in Vegas or something like that." And I was like, "No." I was like, he like, "Yo, just keep it real." I'm like, "No." I'm like, you know what I mean? He like, "Well, you need to go upstairs and talk to her." I'm like, "Key, what's going on?" So I go upstairs. So it's so she like, "Aaron, you ready to tell the truth?" Because that's what she called me, Aaron. She like, "You ready to tell the truth?" I'm like, "So what's going on?" So it's some girls, Hugh Hefner ex-girlfriends. These now, Hugh Hefner, the Playboy Hugh Hefner, his ex-girl, they was actually his wives. They was on this episode called Girl Next Door, Carissa Shannon.
I used to watch it.
Yeah, Carissa Shannon. And so I used to party with them in Vegas. They get in contact with my wife from Facebook out of nowhere.
Oh my gosh.
Because it say, "Hey, I see this shit on live. It's good." It seems like Brittany was like, it look like you on live is doing pretty good. Well, did he tell you what he did in Vegas in 2012? And I'm like, and so she's like, "Yeah, he did this and did this." They say they put a lot of salt. They lied a little bit, but it was some stuff that happened, but they ain't have all the details. So my wife was like, "So, yeah, lie so I can call him." She said, "I can call her too." So I'm like, she said, "You a man of God, so you better not lie." I'm like,
He was thinking of a scripture, boy. Come on, give me something.
Yo, and I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm gonna be transparent. I lied. I was like, "Nah, I ain't do nothing." I lied. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Like straight up, man of God, Holy Spirit felt like they ain't got nothing to do with God. It was just me and my pride. Like I lied. I was like, "Nah, I ain't cheated. I ain't do nothing." Call the girl. They be like, "Laugh, you're a man of God now. We watching you on the internet. You better tell the truth. You slept with this. You did this." And I was like, "Whatever, man." I told my wife, I said, I walked out the room. My wife got mad, stormed out the door, and he called me again. Me and Key talk like, so I'm getting all this advice from men of God. They like, "Look, son, with your past and what you was doing, you don't want to go there." And then I was like, Key was like, "Yo, you might as well go ahead and tell her, yo, get it out the way, man. It's gonna keep coming up. It's gonna keep coming up." But I know what God just told me to do. So I called. So Key's like, "Man, come on my house and we gonna worship me, him and his wife was worshiping." And next thing you know, my wife was on her way there because I told her I was going to tell her. And I had opened up about all the women I cheated on, well, all the other women I had pregnant. Like I had so many, like we didn't even have a baby.
Oh, wow.
So I had other women pregnant and all this type of stuff. I ain't have, like they ain't had no kids or nothing. Like they ain't had the kids, but it was a lot of women. Like, and I had to tell her. She asked me how many women it was. I told her I ain't know. You know what I mean? But I had a lot of ever since we've been married, even days before we got married, I was right back doing it. It ain't take no time.
You kept it real.
Yeah, I told her I had to tell her because I had to break down that because now because the Lord was showing me where I'm taking you at. You can't have nobody being able to point the finger at you and saying they did something without her knowing. So now it's like I'm free from it. So if a girl say, "Look, hey, yeah, I had sex with live," she look at her like,
I already know.
I already
She
know he
getting
did it.
the
I just ain't know
She
he
getting the
got
date.
paid.
2014, I know.
Yeah. But what God did in it, it was so powerful. Our marriage became so much stronger and so much intimacy because the truth came out. All that was out the way, and then what we was praying for a kid, and now now she's pregnant, 5 months.
Oh,
congratulations.
Yeah, so God be the glory. So,
Okay.
Truth literally set you free.
man, it set me free, and I got the blessings and abundance.
Yay.
Now listen, the reason I brought that up, I got my wife there in the corner.
Yeah.
You know, all women are different
Yeah.
and similar, but black women are special. I'm gonna go with this. So baby, what you gonna do? Now listen, hold on. I ain't got no stories to tell. I'm actually Gucci. I'm actually all my that I did was before I got married.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
All right, check back with me in case God tell me
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
lying, you know. But he's like, you ain't say that on the show. But you hear that story, and let's say, for instance, that my story is similar to my brother right here, and I come to you, and you realize that I'm giving my life back to the higher power, right? To God, to Jesus. How do you think your reaction would be? I mean, of course, the human side is like, let me cut this nigga. But how does that resonate with you? I don't want to even put too much like, imagine that. Imagine me coming home, and here go my man, Steph. I'm going to put you in it. Stephon talking about, you got to tell. I'm like, you don't leave me alone. You got to tell yours. Don't tell me nothing. Tell me my mom. Tell yours first. Tell me how that works. How you going to, I come home and give you all that. What's it going to be like for you?
Oh my God.
She called right on God. She called some help talking about
Call
that.
right on him.
I think that I would go off. I'm just keeping it 100. I would lose my mind because I would feel like that you betrayed me, and it would be hard for me to like trust you, and just I couldn't be with you.
Now, when you
I
say, and that's an honest answer. We don't want anything but honesty. And the wound hurts when it's the freshest, right? But do you find yourself, you would have any kind of respect of like, okay, not only did he say it happened, but
Right,
he
I would-
really like, mind you, the timeline is that he's already given his life back to God.
I
He's
would
already
respect
showed
that. I
improvement.
would respect, like, and I told you, I respect you for going that far, telling her that. But
It would be hard
it
for
would
you.
be hard for me just to stay in a marriage with you, knowing you just told me that. Because every time I'm gonna wonder what you're doing when you leave the house.
Every time you see some glitter, you know what time it is.
I know what. Look.
He went to Party City. He went to Party City for his next sermon with the kid church. But that glitter that brought her a flashback. She like,
Oh, especially if you tell me about some kids, you ain't got some females. I might hurt you. I don't know.
Now, was it immediate? All right, baby, you good, or did you get any of that when you?
No, I got every.
He said, I got all
No,
that.
every bit. No, every bit of it. I got all of that. Plus, you know what I mean? Like, it's still more that she can say. I know. So, like, no, I was in the basement for
dirty
a minute. Like, if it wasn't for the grace of God, I like, you know, being able to worship and pray with them before she came in, the atmosphere being set, it would
I
have
like
been
how you
bad.
said that though. That's something I didn't include in my example to you.
Yeah.
You set the mood, right? And we
Yeah.
do that for when we doing stuff that's of the flesh, right? You
Yeah.
got to set the mood, a
With
little
the spirit.
foreplay.
Yeah.
He had to set the mood. Like, okay, we can't just jump out here at the window and be like, hey, this is what I did.
Yeah,
Let's
nah.
make sure our spirits is right.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
make sure we good, because I'm going to
Yeah.
drop a bomb.
I'm about to drop a real
A
bomb.
bomb.
And
That's a big one, Lord.
So the biggest thing was I was like, she did not trust me. She still go through times that she
Right.
don't trust me. Like, she still had times like, you know, because I got women on my team who's actually helping to push what God is doing, and they serving and then they pushing. Shout out to Vic.
Vic,
But,
shout out to Vic, yeah.
But it's still sometimes, you remember, the enemy is he come against our soul. He speaks to our mind, and he can weigh, and our mind can weigh against our emotions. So what happens is sometimes she go through them times where as though she get to tripping, maybe like having like the little feelings, or she want to talk about
Insecurities and
things.
stuff,
And I tell her, like, you know, at one point in time, I still keep talking about it. I talk to her about it, but I'm not going into no details. You know what I mean? You know how y'all
Yeah.
were like, oh, so did you hug her?
So when you had sex with her, how many strokes you like? Yeah. You really want to know that?
Yeah, so you know, and she's so real. She's so real because I'm gonna tell you what she couldn't reject. She couldn't deny that I wasn't the same person no more. More than anything in the world, it was like she knew If I would have told her when I was that same person, this thing would have been over.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But because she knew she could see the fruit of my life, she could see the people that I'm discipling. She could see the change. She see me crying out to the Lord. She said she ain't never seen nobody who looked like Jesus like me. Like she never seen a Christian really walk out Christ like me. If a person, out her own mouth, if a person don't believe that I'm changed, they can't understand the gospel, period. This is what she look at. When she look at me, she says she see like the reflection of Christ in my walk.
So the actions speak
Speak
louder than your words.
anything. But that's what
That's what saved you.
Yeah, that's
So I
what
think
saved
if you didn't have the actions, if you just came and look, baby, look, we gonna pray real quick before we eat. I cheated. Amen. She'd be like, no, that's not how it's gonna work. But you showed and proved for years through your actions.
through my actions. So when it came down to lay that, to say that, it was kind of like one of them situations was though, all right, he in this situation, now that's gonna teach a moment right now. He in this situation, he did what he did. He told you after he been serving, you know what's going on in his life, and now it's kind of like, you know, he's not that person, but what he just said to you hurt you because you went through this situation with him. But now he's this brand new man, and you know he ain't gonna ever do this no more, and you know God is doing some powerful things in his life. But you won't let him go and just let another woman take everything that you went through. And y'all
Who said that? Who came up with that?
No, I said that.
I'm about to say, because that was your man's man. If he came up, you going to just let him go? I said, that's your man's. He deserves some money and some shoes. Because that was some real stuff. But that's what you came up with. You said, listen, I'm changed. I'm not the same man I was when I was doing that stuff. Work with me.
Well, no, yeah, I told her. I said, look, I didn't say that, you know, because at the end of the day, obviously, if she'd have let me go, you know, eventually, you know, I would have probably remarried or something like that again. But I don't want no other woman but her. Because ain't no other woman go through no struggle like she went through.
Say it one more time right now.
Like, I don't want no other woman but her, because ain't no other woman go through the mud, ain't go through the struggle with what she went through. She went through everything. Man. She done been in house raised with me. She been with me when I've been shot. She with me when I've been in the jail. So I'm this whole evil living in the kingdom of darkness kind of guy. Now I get saved. I'm a brand new person. And now I'm just going to let her walk out my life now when I'm living the right way.
Unless someone else experienced that version of you?
No. She deserves every bit of what God is going to do in our life together. So, you know, that's why I tell her, like, come on, baby, stop bringing up that stuff. Stop talking about it. I know you want to talk about it, but don't talk about it because I don't want to think about them girls.
Yeah, right. You trying to make me go back?
I
said I threw it away.
Hey,
Let me ask you another question. This is a hypothetical. And, of course, your wonderful wife, who I've not had a chance to meet, isn't here to defend herself or even talk on the subject.
Okay.
So this is what we call hypothetical time. Hypothetical time. Listen, so now you a changed man.
Right.
And you've gave away or kept it real.
Right.
She comes to you a year later, I got something to tell you.
Okay.
When I was lonely, when I was hurting, when I was wondering, when I was weak in my flesh, I did some of the same similar things.
Right.
Maybe even the worse. You know, sometimes it's not even the act with us. It could be who you did it with.
Right.
You know, how do you think? Because, of course, it's hypothetical time.
Yeah.
How do you think you would have reacted if you kept it honest?
If I kept it honest,
Because now it's
the tables turn.
yeah, it's on us now. And it's so
Yeah.
easy for our women to forgive us and they do it, right?
Right.
But now it's back on you.
My thing
You're
is
a man
this.
of God now.
I'm a man of God now. My thing is this. The fact that you told me you did it is okay. I just don't want to know nothing about it.
You don't want no
Okay.
details.
I don't
You
wanna
see the
know
difference, lady?
Nothing.
So what do he look like?
I don't want to know. That's what I told her, because we talk about certain things. She was like, well, what if I did something? I was like, if you did it, just take it to the grave. I said, I already forgive you.
You got 5 people.
Look, bro. Then I turn over and go to sleep like,
Yeah.
sleep and I roll over, look at her like that. I roll over, look at her like, like, yeah, but she's like, yeah, you know, but at the end of the day, I just don't want to know, like.
And what is it gonna do? You can't change the past. It literally is done.
It's done. Like
you can't go back.
Because it's been a lot of times that she had opportunity, because I'm out of town doing everything. She know I'm wilding out of clubs, and you know she could have did some stuff. I wasn't the best. I wasn't the best husband. You know what I mean? I don't care who you are, what kind of guy you are. We done seen the slickers of the slickers and the richest of the richest girls cheat on them. So a lot of times, you know, just because you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Fast forward now to this song. And what I also want to do is keep it honest. So My granddaddy calling me about nothing. I love him, but he ain't calling about that. Boy, will you? I told you I was gonna be at. So let me finish this right here. When I have guests on, I try to do research, right?
Right.
And get a little background of what they bring into not bring to the table in a sense, but like what we're gonna discuss and talk about.
Right.
So then I come across your single,
Right.
and when I heard it, immediately it wasn't like I'm talking about. It wasn't nothing corny about it.
Right.
At all.
Regardless of identifiable what you were saying, it was like this definitely ain't corny.
Yeah,
It's like he really talking. How did this single come up? Now this is a single you worked with DJ Reds.
Yeah, DJ Reds,
and
shout out Reds.
the name of Spiritual Plug Entertainment.
Yeah, straight up.
Give us how all that came together. Making an entertainment company,
Right.
making the single, working along DJ Reds.
Man, first of all,
Could you give us the hook real quick?
whole world saying they don't need God.
Whoa!
Bullets get the flying,
Come on,
now they
Steph.
scream God.
You know,
Bullets hit that body, now they need God. And now you about to die, now you scream
God!
God.
Bam!
He can't
Bam!
control himself.
That's some real stuff, man.
Yeah.
when you got performances and I'm there,
Yeah.
and you just see me going.
Yeah.
Looking at me like, oh yeah, that gotta be his man.
Yeah.
This man, she got Tourette syndrome and some other stuff. Listen, so the lyrics off top speak to what we've been talking about this entire time.
Yeah.
So the culmination, how did it all come up together? How did you think about making the song?
I mean, it's crazy, man, because you would think like Stefan said something so powerful, putting Jesus in a box, putting God in a box, and it's nothing about like my man Key lifestyle, Steph lifestyle now. We have it's like people don't understand how free God want us to be once you get to know Him. He want us to go out and allow our testimony of who we used to be, and at the same time just be we still people. You know what I'm saying? So what happened is like I used to be a plug in the street. Spiritual Plug came out like yo, I'm plugging people back in with Jesus now. But it sounds like some slick stuff that you want to be a part of if you're in the street. Like, yo, it's Spiritual Plug. Same time, like, I know, it identifies with the dude. He was really getting money in the streets. But I'm like, nah, bro. I'm going to plug you in with some other stuff for real. So it's a way to talk. That was the biggest thing for Spiritual Plug. But before Need God came from a real situation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you recognize people out here losing their life who rejected the gospel, rejected God, period. And it was like, when they really about to lose their life and the doctor saying no, you know what I mean? And, you know, or nothing, you in them situations where as though your back up against the wall, somebody coming at you in your house with a hammer about to kill you, you know you about to go. And you know, can't nobody stop this from happening. At the end of the day, who you gonna scream for? Who you gonna, I don't know. You gonna say, God, please help me. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was. You know what I mean? It, like your wife, the first thing, you know, when she was about to answer that question, what'd she say? Oh my God. It was something she didn't even think about why she was, it just came out. At the end of the day, the evidence of who he is and how powerful he is can save us from any situation. And that's where it came from. And I recognized like, yo, me being a street dude and seeing so many dudes lose their life. And at the end of when they know they about to lose it, now you want to call the one who been calling you to live for him the whole time.
It might be too late by then.
And it's too late sometimes because it's like he hear you, but he called your name a lot of times, and you ain't never reply. So now, your money can't save you. The people who you hung with every day can't save you.
That fake love you talking about
fake
can't
love,
save you.
the fake love can't save you. So everything that you did up until that time, rejecting God, that moment that you about to lose your life is right there in front of your face, and the only one that can save you is Him. So why wait Why wait till that time to come? To call on Him.
Right.
And that's where that song came from. It came from a raw place, like a looking at the world, looking at the situations and saying, man, these dudes talking all this crazy stuff right now, but let them lose their life when they got to stand in front of Him. You think you got enough guts to even speak when you saying this amazing being? No, bro. You don't know. You don't have no idea who you talking to. He ain't even got to say nothing to you, just a drop.
Does DJ Reds, I assume since you were doing the music thing before you were saved, he knew you from that. So how crazy was it when you come back now? He like, you want me what?
Yeah, no, Reds was with it.
He was with it from the jump.
Because Reds knew me how I used to be before I switched over. So me and Reds always had a real official relationship, and it was like when I said something to him, it was so easy for us to navigate. And even in the same situation with dudes who are still on the streets from Tech and them who still making music, the same thing. if I need something, them dudes going to just be like, yo, whatever, live, I already know what time it is. It's whatever. So, like, with Reds, it was like, yo, I said, Reds, I want you to do this. It was like, all right, bet. Where you want me to meet you at? What you want to do? Reds, I need you to stamp this up. We got to get this radio. I need this to be spinning in every club. Live, you ain't say nothing.
That's real love.
That's love. And Reds always, and it's not just about me. Reds, the type of person, he a real dude. He ain't nothing Hollywood about him.
I've actually heard that from a few different people who's coming to the show.
Yeah.
I keep hearing that about him. So that's why I wanted to talk. And not that he would be phony or not, but it's the shock of it all. Like I know you, and I remember what you used to rap about, and now you come in with this new type. It's like almost like is he really for real? Is he really about this? And it's surprising almost. I would assume, but is it like he didn't skip a beat and he was about supporting you regardless?
He ain't skip a beat. He was at every situation. Still to this day, like. We on the phone for hours and sometimes just talking about like pretty much nothing.
Just life.
Life, like we just talk. You know what I mean? He got the most airwaves in the whole DMV.
Yeah, what is it? 93.9, y'all?
95.5.
95.5.
Yeah,
oh yeah, if you from the DMV, you know DJ Red.
You know DJ Red. So you know what I mean? Like he don't have to do that. He could just say, look, man, you ain't talking about no money, then bye. Like, but he ain't like that. He a real person, and that's why everybody love him. That's why he gonna last. You know what I'm saying?
I liked it a lot. So. Before we wrap it up, number one, thank you so much for coming on. We ain't quite done yet. What I also wanted to ask you is your testimony. Now, we've talked a lot about your story. So if those have been listening, been paying attention,
right,
they got it. But if you had, they call it an elevator pitch in business, right?
Right.
If you had 20 seconds, a minute to talk to somebody and say, this is where I came from, this is where I am, and this is where I can help take us in the future. Where do you see?
20 what?
You got about a minute. Let's do a minute clip. Man, you go as long as you want to. I ain't gonna say your time's over, right? You like, ain't God say time's over. I ain't gonna do that. But if like one thing I want to ask you about was your testimony. Like you are where you are right now, but almost like where you see yourself going.
Right.
And of course, it's not just your purpose because you're obviously living something bigger than your own self, right?
Yeah.
So. If we were in church and it was testimony time, y'all know testimony time, right? What's your testimony, bro?
Right. No. If I could tell people right now, anybody, especially somebody who come from the culture I come from, but it's bigger than just my culture because I'm trying to touch everybody. But like like you can't, you really don't know your next breath. You really. Can't dictate if tomorrow gonna come. I got homeboys who, you know what I mean, like, yo, I see you right here and I see you like later on tonight and you ain't never show up. And we was really looking forward to having a good time and like they lost their life. And so life is real short. And you really don't know what's after life. Most people just believe like, yo, you going a lot of different theologies and a lot of different things. But the fact is, I can testify for my life who I used to be. Like I used to really, really, really be about murders and killings and, trying to make some stuff happen in the streets and didn't care who I hurt to do it. And most people who knew me knew like, you don't play with live. He a real one, like for real. Like he'll get you or you know what I mean. Somebody will do something just so they can get a favor. You know what I mean. So to see where I'm at right now and to see that I'm walking around preaching the word of God in churches, like men of God who sharing their pulpits with me and allowing me to speak and make and rap and use my gift for His glory in all different areas. Like, yo, look at it. Like, look at my life. Do the research and see, like, who Jesus Christ is. Because, like I said, I ain't meet him. Ain't nobody come up to me and tell me nothing. And ain't nobody come up to me and tell me nothing like, yo, you need to get saved and nothing like that. No, I really met him in my living room. I got saved in my living room. By the time I walked into a church, I was already on fire. Most of the people in my church, a lot of people, I ain't going to say most, but a whole lot of people in my church ain't even know Jesus. And they was there. They was in church for years. And I knew him for myself personally. So I was already, my lifestyle was convicting the people. So if I could say anything, like, yo, really come to know, like, the Lord for yourself. Don't get caught up in what everybody else say. Like Stephon say, like, really come to know him for yourself. Like, pray, trust him, and really believe his word. Really try to spend some time with him and start somewhere. Because when you leave this earth, it's gonna be you gonna go either one or other, one way or the other way, and and it's His will that everybody should go be with Him. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and where I see myself going at with this thing, as far as this inspirational music situation, man, I see myself being a pioneer, like a trailblazer for the next generation, for kids to really be their self and really use their gift to glorify God. I mean, the biggest artist in the world, if you can really say, if that's cool to say about myself, because I see myself being the biggest artist in the world, setting the trail for kids to come preach the word of God, because that's what's gonna happen in this music industry. That's the gateway to our kids. That's the gateway. That's the way the enemy coming right in, making them dance, making them hear these little songs. Next thing you know, they slide something else in, and now they thinking it's cool to pop a Percocet or to name, you know what I mean? Just to really start, think it's okay to just disrespect themselves and take another way out. But I mean, that's the only thing I say. I just be like, yo, come to know Jesus for real, like for yourself. Like really get on your knees and just say, look, Lord, I need you. I really need to know who you are, because I done did it myself for so long. I done tried it my way, and I done seen what I done got myself. Now, if this is it, you know what I mean? Like, man, this is crazy. But when I gave my life to Him, I'm talking about, I thought I was turned up when I was in the street. Man, my life really turned up now. Like, it's on a whole nother level. I wasn't looking for all this, but this is what came along with it. Like, you know what I mean? Now I'm doing shows and with secular rappers. What's the dude name? P&B Rock. I'm on stages with P&B Rock, bringing the gospel in the middle of the track. I'm on stages with I stay on stages with Moose and Tato, and I'm bringing the gospel in the middle of all this. Ain't no Christian rappers. These dudes wouldn't even want to be around that. If you coming around them like, yo, and they recognize I'm from the street. Tato know what time it is with me. Moose know what time it is with me. All them dudes, like, you know what I mean, P&B Rock, and you know what I mean, I've been around. What's the other dude name who we just did a show with? I forgot the dude name. He got a big single. He signed with DJ Khaled. I forgot the name. Flip De Niro. Did the joint with Flip De Niro. Been on stage with Flip De Niro as a man of God in the middle of it. So I can't really see exactly where God taking this thing at. All I know is that I'm doing something that ain't nobody has ever done, and I'm leading a trail that no pastor has ever seen. So no pastor, no Christian rapper have never walked in this trail that the Lord got me walking in. And every day is exciting, because I'm like, man, what's gonna happen next? Like, we've been on BET, we've been on live recordings with BET right now. That's still about to come out. Yeah, I've been on the radio, on every last radio station from 106, 95.5, 95.5, 92Q every week. I think the last 3 weeks, and been on TV the last 3 weeks, consistently running rotation. They've been supposed to stop my show, but it still keep going. And every time you turn around, I'm getting DMs from people saying what God done did from the testimony they've been hearing. It's kind of crazy, but I'm like, this is what God doing, and I'm actually in front of it. I'm on just got on my first tour, five city tours. So all this stuff happening, and next month will be a year since I started actually, and I made my first song. It's about a year, right, Key? About a year, and all this stuff just happened that quick.
You got that major label push. You see what I'm saying? That major label push.
Exactly. That major label push. And you got labels still was trying to work deals out with us and do different deals and stuff like that. But
they don't matter though.
It never mattered.
That one.
He the one matters.
If that's what you're doing it for, and that's the message you're trying to push. His message.
Yeah.
That's why it's being pushed.
Yeah, and that's why it's being pushed, and that's the biggest thing. So the biggest thing is we taking over the airwaves. We bringing everything back to God that was His from the original intent. Like, all of us is His. We all made in His image. We got gifts and talents in our hands. Ain't none of our fingerprints the same when we look at it. When we go back to Him, we got to ask Him what we did with our gift and talent while we was on this earth. And guess what? And if you ain't using it for His glory, it don't make a difference. It don't make a difference. You gain no fruit. Because at the end of the day, you His. He the potter, we the clay. He put all the gifts inside of us, mixed us up, and told us go and make disciples. So that's what I'm called to do, make disciples, call street dudes to this. You know what I mean? I relate to street dudes. I relate to kids. I relate to the bishops. I could talk to anybody on any level. So, and they respect it. But, you know what I mean? It's a lot more I'm calling for the church leaders to do. You know what I mean? We're going to be at their door. because you know what I mean. They got tithes and
Keep 'em
offerings.
accountable.
Yeah.
They got tithes and
Yeah.
offerings, and we need some checks.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Straight up,
Listen,
man.
I hope this gives me some good credit up there. I had them on. We pushing it, right? Listen, work with me. Work with me.
He working with you,
Look,
bro.
I ain't got no secrets to tell yet, but work with me.
He working with you, bro.
Thank you so much for coming on live. We really
Thank you.
appreciate you. Give them some
Yeah.
love, man. Let them know where they can catch you. Let them know where they can catch you, where they can find out social media.
Yeah, all social medias is official live SP, official live SP, official live SPs from Twitter to Instagram to Facebook, everything official live SP.
Dope. Check out that new single. Especially the second verse. The second verse. So when I was making the video, I had the old video, right? But you know how people is. They got to be incentivized to watch something, and they might give you 15 seconds.
Okay.
So I'm going through. I said, where can I get a nice minutes of change clip?
Okay.
And I got to that second verse, and that's when you was breaking it down.
You ready?
Y'all need to check that. You want?
I'm gonna give it to you.
All right, give me
Okay.
the second verse. Give me the second verse.
All right. And they be selling everything, brick after brick, just to get you by that album, tricked you again. Then they send their kids to college, tricked you again. While your kid doing time, stuck in the pen. They flexing again. They icy again. And all this fake love around, they can't buy you a friend. And you ain't really on them drugs you promoting to them. And now your fans doing things you never was in. Real as it get. I speak truth and that's it. And you be flagging all them demons, you worshiping them. And got the people out here dying influenced by them. And I be screaming to my lungs, the kingdom is here. Sick as we is, we need God and it's real. And you ain't gotta lose your life to see that he real. And I'm still preaching to myself, I know how you feel. Why these rappers out here lying, claiming they real.
Man. And y'all know what time it is if you got a problem. Y'all know. He a soldier of God, but he's still a soldier. So if you got a problem with that second verse, you go see him. I ain't got no Thank you so much for coming on, Steph. Thank you so much for hooking us up.
Man,
Up
straight
to
up,
you.
man.
Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
everything you do. Appreciate you, brother, in the back. Next time we get you in the camera, you hold the camera up, hold your mans down. That's love.
That's love, he's serving.
You can catch us every week, Not Safe for Ears, on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes. We continue to try to give y'all just the real.
Straight up.
So we appreciate the real. We appreciate you coming on, and we're going to keep in touch with you. We're going to keep watching.
Yeah, most definitely.
You ain't even got to tell me. If you know me, Stephon know me, you ain't got to ask me to support.
Straight up.
It's already there. So
Alrighty.
please let me know if you got something you want me to push out there and let people know about it. But if I
Most
see it,
definitely.
I'm going to let people know about
Most
it.
definitely.
appreciate
And whatever we can do with spiritual plug as well. Like one of the things we're gonna definitely do is we got our own media base as well.
Okay.
So you already seen how they be reposting spiritual plug ENT as well as that, and then everything that far as the videos, we gonna be chopping them up.
Dope.
We're gonna be tagging you and everything. That's
We
all going
appreciate
on as
that.
well.
That's the only way we going to.
Yeah.
That's the only way we going to give the people real, especially when they trying to quiet us down, right?
Yeah, straight
We got to work together. And you
Right.
know when I say we,
Yeah.
I mean we, right?
Mm-hmm.
To push past that. So
Push past
I
it.
appreciate that, brother. We're going to talk. Your feet looking real clean, too.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know they was
Man.
Jordans. I just bought them because I had a shirt that matched, and then I found out they was Jordans. Somebody came up to me and told me. So shout out to Michael Jordan.
See, I know when they join. I look at that tag. That's the Jordan tag. What is Steph Curry's at? I need some out. Thank you so much for coming on. We see y'all
man.
next week. And suck your mother's cunt.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Let me go ahead and turn this off.